On a gentle morning in suburban Pennsylvania, Rachel Brown gazed lovingly at her sleeping husband Michael's face before turning off the bedside alarm clock. The morning sun reflected in his dark brown hair, warming her heart. She finally felt that her life was heading in the right direction. "Good morning, beauty," Michael said without opening his eyes. Though he worked hard as a computer security specialist, he valued family time above all else. "Good morning. I'll go wake Lily," Rachel whispered as she slipped out of bed. Walking down the hallway, she passed a photo frame of Michael's first wife. She always felt that Jennifer's gentle smile was watching her. She gently knocked on 8-year-old Lily's door. "Lily, time to get up. We'll be late for school." "I'm already up," a small voice replied. When Rachel opened the door, Lily was already dressed in her uniform, diligently brushing her long blonde hair. Rachel couldn't help but smile at the sight. "Would you like some help?" Rachel offered, but Lily shook her head slightly. "It's okay. I can do it myself." A small rejection. Each time, Rachel's heart ached a little, but she understood. To Lily, she was still just Dad's new wife. Becoming a real mother would take time, especially for Lily who had lost her mother at the age of 4. "What would you like for breakfast? Pancakes? Or French toast?" Rachel asked cheerfully. As an elementary school teacher, she knew how to interact with children. But dealing with her own stepchild was a different challenge. "Pancakes," but Lily hesitated before adding, "with nickel-free syrup." "Of course. I bought some specially for you," Rachel reassured her. Lily's severe nickel allergy affected every aspect of her life.
Can you imagine making $10,000 a month just from YouTube, all from home? That's exactly what I did with Reddit stories. No face, no voice. Check the link in the description if you're curious.
She would break out in a rash just from touching common metal products. Rachel carefully selected metal items throughout the house and prepared meals with meticulous attention for Lily's sake. While preparing breakfast in the kitchen, Rachel's smartphone rang. It was her mother, Vivian. "Rachel, how are you?" Vivian's voice had its usual haughty tone. "Want to go shopping this weekend? A new mall has opened. Michael will be away on a business trip this weekend. I'll be alone with Lily, so..." "Oh, that child again," Vivian's voice contained a hint of irritation. "My daughter tied down taking care of someone else's child." "Lily isn't someone else's child. She's my family," Rachel lowered her voice so Lily wouldn't hear. Yes, if you say so," Vivian sighed. "But you're always sacrificing yourself for others. With your previous husband, you moved repeatedly for his dreams, and ended up divorced. Now you've married a man with a child. Michael is a wonderful person. And so is Lily," Rachel wanted to end the conversation. "Mom, I might burn the pancakes, so I'll call you back later." After hanging up, Michael came into the kitchen. "Vivian?" he asked perceptively. "Yes," Rachel smiled weakly. "Same as always. She's just worried. She only wants her daughter to be happy." Michael gently placed his hand on her shoulder. He had always been Rachel's ally and understood Vivian's complex personality. Friday evening, Michael was loading his suitcase into the car for his business trip. "I'll be back Sunday night. Call me right away if anything happens. We'll be fine. Just us girls having fun." Rachel kissed him. Lily came to the entrance and hugged her father tightly. "Dad, when you come back, let's look at the stars together. You promised." "I promise, princess," Michael kissed his daughter's forehead. "Listen to Mama Rachel while I'm gone." Just after Michael's car disappeared around the corner, another car pulled up in front of the house. Vivian Fisher stepped out wearing flashy sunglasses. At 63, she was still beautiful and successful as the owner of a local beauty salon. "Surprise." Vivian spread her arms wide. "Tomorrow we're going shopping. I'm staying here tonight. Rachel stared at her mother with a mixture of surprise and confusion. Mom, you should have told me in advance. Then you would have refused, right? Vivian laughed lightly. Her gaze shifted to Lily. Hello, little lady. Would you like to call me Grandma? Lily nodded slightly, hiding behind Rachel. Aren't you shy? Vivian laughed, but her eyes weren't smiling. Are you two building a good relationship? Of course, Rachel answered immediately. Lily and I are growing together every day. I see, Vivian said, sounding uninterested. Tomorrow, don't worry about Lily. Come shopping with me. I've arranged for a babysitter. But you need a break too. Aren't you tired of always looking after someone else's child? Mom, Lily is not someone else's child, Rachel said quietly but firmly. The next day, Rachel was preparing to go shopping with Vivian. Guilt weighed on her heart, but wanting to improve her relationship with her mother, she had agreed to leave Lily with a babysitter. Mama Rachel, are you leaving? Lily asked in a small voice. Just for a little while. Have fun with Miss Jane. I'll be back by evening, Rachel kissed her. Is there anything you want? I'll buy it for you. Lily pretended to think. I want a surprise. Got it. Rachel smiled. This was their little ritual, a secret language just between the two of them. When they returned from shopping, Lily was laughing while playing video games with the babysitter. Rachel's heart ached a little. Lily was having fun even without her there. See? Vivian whispered. That child isn't attached to you. She's not even particularly happy to see you back. It just takes time, Rachel said, putting on a brave face. What matters is to keep trying. In the corner of the room, she stared at the calendar. Next week was Lily's birthday. I'll make it a special day so Lily will think of me as her real mom, she promised herself. The night before Lily's birthday, Rachel was carefully finishing the last stitches at the living room table. She smiled with satisfaction at the face of the handmade doll. The cloth doll with long blonde hair and blue eyes was made to resemble Lily, with love in every stitch. She had specially ordered nickel-free metal buttons for decoration, taking care to avoid triggering an allergic reaction. Lovely doll, Michael sat beside her with a coffee cup in hand. Lily will be delighted. I hope so, Rachel looked at the doll with slight anxiety. Girls might prefer something more flashy. It'll be fine, Michael took her hand. This doll is made with love. Lily will feel that. Just then, Rachel's smartphone rang. It was Vivian. Mom, why are you calling so late? Rachel looked at the clock. It was already past 10. I'm coming to the party tomorrow, Vivian's voice was bubbling with excitement. I've prepared a wonderful present. Lily will absolutely love it. Rachel frowned. Mom, I didn't hear you were coming tomorrow. Surprise. Vivian laughed lightly. Don't worry. I won't get in the way. I just want to see my granddaughter. After hanging up, Michael looked at her with concern. Everything okay? Mom's coming tomorrow, Rachel sighed. She's prepared a present too. That's wonderful, isn't it? Michael shrugged. For Lily, it's like having another grandmother. Rachel nodded silently, but somewhere in her heart, anxiety was growing. Something about Vivian's use of the word granddaughter bothered her. She had mostly referred to Lily as that child before. Was she planning something? The next day, Lily's 8th birthday. Balloons and colorful decorations danced in the garden as friends from the neighborhood and school arrived one after another. Rachel watched from the kitchen window as she made final preparations, occasionally glancing outside to smile at Michael entertaining the children at the barbecue grill. The doorbell rang, and when Rachel answered, there stood Vivian. She was dressed in a flashy red dress, holding a box decorated with a huge gold ribbon. "Happy birthday, my beloved granddaughter!" Vivian shouted loudly. Lily turned around in the garden, her eyes shining. "Grandma!" Lily ran over and hugged Vivian. After giving Rachel a smug glance, Vivian gently stroked Lily's head. "This is something special just for you." Vivian carefully untied the box's ribbon and opened the lid. "Look!" From the box emerged the latest model iPhone. Wrapped in a glittering pink case with Lily's name engraved in gold. Lily gasped, her eyes wide. "Wow! A real iPhone!" Lily timidly picked it up with her small hands. "Is this really for me?" "Of course," Vivian said proudly. "I ordered it specially. A special present just for you." Rachel stood frozen with a mixture of confusion and concern. "But, Mom. Lily is only 8 years old. And is there a problem?" Vivian directed a challenging gaze at her daughter. "All modern children have them. I just wanted to do something special for her that you couldn't." Her voice contained a smile tinged with sarcasm. "Rachel," Michael approached. "Isn't that great? Lily is thrilled." "But, Michael. It's too early for her," Rachel said in a low voice. "And considering Lily's allergies. It's okay to spoil her once in a while," Michael shrugged. "Your mother chose it specially." Rachel was left speechless. Lily's happy face, Michael's unsupportive attitude, and Vivian's triumphant expression. All of it weighed on her heart. When it was time for presents, Rachel nervously offered the handmade doll to Lily. "Lily, this is something Mama made with all her heart. Just for you." Lily took the doll and smiled gently. "Thank you, Mama Rachel," she said politely, but her eyes never left the iPhone. The handmade doll was hugged briefly before being placed quietly on the sofa. Lily was completely absorbed with the iPhone. Showing it off to friends, taking photos, downloading free games to play. Even when Rachel called to her, she just replied, "Yeah," or "Okay," without really engaging in conversation. When it was cake time, Rachel brought out a specially made nickel-free chocolate cake. "Lily, make a wish and blow out the candles." "Wait, I want to take a photo." Lily held up the iPhone. Michael laughed and put his daughter on his shoulders as everyone sang, "Happy Birthday." Toward the end of the party, Vivian sat down next to Rachel. "The child looks happy," she pointed at Lily, who was engrossed with the iPhone. "Seems she likes my present more than the doll you made." Rachel could only smile silently, feeling the bitterness spread in her chest. It must be difficult to be that child's real mother. Vivian's words stung Rachel's heart like a bee. "I couldn't raise a child with no blood connection." "That's enough, Mom," Rachel said quietly but firmly. "Lily is my daughter. Even without a blood connection." "If you say so," Vivian shrugged. "But it's obvious which present she's excited about." That night, after all the guests had left, Rachel was reading a bedtime story to Lily in her room. However, Lily's attention was on the iPhone, barely responding to the story. "Lily, it's bedtime now. Let's leave the iPhone here," Rachel said gently. "Just a little more," Lily said without taking her eyes off the screen. "Just a little bit more." Michael poked his head into the room. "What's up? Not sleeping yet?" "Dad, can I play with the iPhone a little longer?" Lily asked in a sweet voice. "Since it's a special day," Michael smiled. "But only 10 more minutes. Then bedtime." Rachel left the room without saying anything. As she walked down the stairs, tears streamed down her cheeks. She felt like she didn't belong. The handmade doll sat lonely in the corner of Lily's bed. 3 days later, in the dead of night, the house was silent. Rachel was spending a sleepless night, passing time reading a novel. Michael was already in a deep sleep, breathing regularly beside her. The bedside clock showed 1:15 a.m. Suddenly, she heard a small noise from the hallway. Then, a weak voice called out, "Mama Rachel." Rachel put down her book and rushed out of bed. Lily standing in the hallway looked unnaturally pale in the moonlight. "Lily, what's wrong?" Rachel knelt in front of her. "My head hurts," Lily said in a thin voice. "It hurts a lot." When Rachel placed her hand on her forehead, it was hot. And looking closely, red rashes were beginning to spread on Lily's face. Her hands were trembling slightly. "Michael!" Rachel called her husband. "Michael, wake up. Lily's not feeling well." Michael jumped up and rushed into the hallway. "What happened?" "I don't know," Rachel's voice trembled with fear. "It looks like an allergic reaction, but..." Lily's condition was rapidly deteriorating. The rash was spreading from her neck to her chest, and her breathing was becoming rough. "I'll call an ambulance," Rachel reached for her phone. "No, I'll take her myself." "There's no time to wait for an ambulance," Michael was already lifting Lily in his arms. "Bring the car keys." Even in her panic, Rachel tried to stay calm. As an elementary school teacher, she had training for emergencies. But when a beloved child was suffering, it was an entirely different matter. The emergency room at midnight was unexpectedly crowded with weekend accident and acute illness patients. Rachel carried Lily in her arms and rushed to the reception desk. "Help! My daughter is having an allergic reaction." The nurse responded quickly, and Lily was immediately taken to the treatment room. A doctor hurried over and quickly assessed Lily's condition. "Does she have any history of allergies?" the doctor asked while efficiently checking Lily's pulse. "Yes, nickel allergy. It's severe," Rachel answered hurriedly. "But we've been careful." Nothing new was. She stopped mid-sentence. The iPhone. Lily hadn't let go of it for 3 days. This smartphone might be the cause. Rachel took the iPhone out of Lily's pocket. "It was a birthday present, she's been using it constantly for the past 3 days." The doctor glanced at the iPhone. "We'll need to investigate thoroughly. First, let's address the symptoms. We'll administer antihistamines and do a CT scan." Rachel and Michael were instructed to wait in the waiting area. Time seemed to pass agonizingly slowly. Rachel's chest felt crushed with anxiety. "I never thought this would happen." Rachel covered her face with trembling hands. "I was worried about that phone from the beginning." "Don't blame yourself," Michael put his arm around her shoulders. "No one could have predicted this." Just then, Rachel's smartphone vibrated. It was a message from Vivian. "I heard Lily was taken to the hospital. This wouldn't have happened if you had been watching her properly." Rachel stared at the message in disbelief. Who had contacted her mother? And why such accusatory words? She showed the screen to Michael. "That's strange," Michael frowned. "Who contacted your mother?" "I don't know," Rachel answered weakly. "But maybe she's right. If I had been more careful." "Nonsense," Michael said firmly. "You're the best mother. This was an accident." Michael's phone rang. He answered and stepped into the hallway. Rachel heard him talking to a work colleague, which irritated her slightly given the situation. After about 30 minutes, a doctor in a white coat returned. Her expression was stern, and she held papers that appeared to be CT scan results. "Mr. and Mrs. Brown, I need to speak with you." Rachel and Michael stood up. "How is Lily?" they asked simultaneously. "Your daughter is stable. The antihistamines are working, and the rash is beginning to recede, but..." The doctor hesitated slightly. "The CT scan results show slight inflammation in the brain. Blood tests also indicate a severe metal allergy reaction." Rachel froze with fear. "Brain inflammation? Is that serious?" It's mild at this point, but could worsen if we don't identify and remove the cause. The doctor took Lily's iPhone that Rachel was holding. Our technical staff examined it. The cause of her symptoms, it's this iPhone. Rachel and Michael looked surprised. This smartphone is a counterfeit, the doctor continued. It's not an official product but an imitation made with very cheap materials. It contains nickel far exceeding safety standards, which is dangerous for someone with allergies like Lily. Counterfeit. Michael repeated, looking confused. But this is from my mother. Rachel began to say, when the doctor interrupted her. That's not all, the doctor pointed to the iPhone case. This case also contains large amounts of nickel compounds. In Lily's case, even touching it can cause a reaction. Especially the gold decorative parts, which are almost pure nickel alloy. A terrible suspicion arose in Rachel's mind. A counterfeit iPhone. A case loaded with nickel. And a present from someone who knew about Lily's allergies. Is this really a coincidence? Rachel's voice was trembling. What are you saying? Michael stared at her. Your mother just bought it without knowing. Maybe. Rachel answered, but in her heart, she was beginning to consider a different possibility. The doctor continued. Lily needs to stay overnight for observation. Depending on tomorrow's test results, she might need to stay a bit longer. Of course, please do whatever is necessary, Michael said in a strong tone. Don't worry about the cost. Can I stay with my daughter? Rachel asked. Of course, the doctor smiled kindly. There's a sofa beside the bed where you can rest. On their way to Lily's room, Rachel's phone vibrated again. It was another message from Vivian. I'm coming to the hospital tomorrow. To take care of my granddaughter. Rachel showed the screen to Michael. Mom says she's coming tomorrow. That's good, isn't it? Michael said. You can get some rest too. But Rachel's heart was filled with anxiety. Her mother's behavior seemed increasingly puzzling. And she needed to find out if that iPhone was really a coincidence. Sitting beside Lily in the hospital room, Rachel quietly cried. The little girl's face was pale, with an IV drip in her arm. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you, she whispered. That night, Rachel made a decision. Tomorrow, she would uncover the truth. She couldn't forgive anyone who put Lily in danger, even if it was her own mother. She held her daughter's hand tightly and kept watching over her until she fell asleep. The next morning, Rachel woke up at Lily's bedside. Her neck ached from sleeping on the hospital sofa, but the pain in her heart was greater. As she sat up, she saw that Lily was still sleeping. The IV tube was connected to her small arm, and the rash on her face had somewhat faded but was still reddish. The room door opened quietly, and Michael entered carrying 2 coffee cups. You stayed here all night, he said, handing a cup to Rachel. You should get some rest. You too, Rachel looked at her husband's tired face. You look like you haven't slept at all. I called the company and took emergency leave, Michael gently stroked Lily's hair. I talked to the doctor. The blood test results are in. Her nickel levels are 15 times normal. Rachel gasped. That much? Fortunately, because it was caught early, she should recover quickly, Michael sighed deeply. If it weren't for that iPhone. Just then, the room door opened again, and a doctor in a white coat entered. Good morning, she smiled gently. Lily's condition is stable. The antihistamines and anti-inflammatories are working. When can she go home? Michael asked. We need to observe her for another 24 hours, the doctor answered. It takes time for nickel to be completely eliminated from the body. After the doctor left, Rachel looked at Michael with a determined expression. I have something I need to check. Can you stay with Lily? Of course, Michael held her hand. What are you going to check? Something, That's bothering me. Rachel avoided giving a specific answer. She felt it was too early to voice the suspicions in her heart. I'll be back soon. In the hospital cafeteria, Rachel called her old friend Susan. Susan worked as a nurse at the same hospital and had been friends with Rachel since college. Susan, I'm sorry to ask, but could you help me? Rachel said in a low voice. Can you find out where that iPhone was purchased? That's difficult, Susan answered cautiously. But the technical department was creating an analysis report last night. I'll take a look. 15 minutes later, Susan sat at Rachel's table and slid a stack of papers in front of her. I found it. This iPhone was purchased from a small online shop called Lucky Tech. It seems to be a company that mainly deals in counterfeit products. Rachel quickly took out her smartphone and searched for the shop. The website appeared immediately, and she scrolled through the products. There was an iPhone identical to the one Lily had. And under the product description, in small red letters, was a warning. Caution, this product contains high concentrations of metal alloys. Do not use if you have metal allergies, especially nickel allergies. Rachel's hand trembled. This was no coincidence. Vivian must have seen this warning. Thank you, Susan. Rachel stood up. Just one more thing, can you let me know when my mother comes to the hospital? Of course, Susan looked at her friend with a worried expression. Are you okay? Is there a problem? I don't know yet, Rachel smiled weakly. But I'm going to find out. On her way back to the room, Rachel's phone rang. It was Vivian. Rachel, it's terrible. Vivian's voice sounded distraught. I dropped my phone and the screen cracked. You know about these things, right? Can you help me? Now? Rachel asked in surprise. While Lily is in the hospital. I'm sorry, I know that. But I have an important business meeting this afternoon. I can't make contact like this. Rachel sighed. All right. Let's meet at the phone repair shop near the hospital. Thank you, you're my savior. Vivian exclaimed with relief. An hour later, Rachel met Vivian at the repair shop. Her mother wore flashy sunglasses and had an anxious expression. Rachel, thank you, Vivian hugged her daughter. How is Lily? Getting better little by little, Rachel answered briefly. Show me your phone. Vivian took out a smartphone with a cracked screen. Rachel took it and brought it to the repair counter. It will take about 30 minutes, the technician said. Please wait over there. I'm going to the restroom for a moment. Vivian stood up with her handbag. While Vivian was gone, Rachel went to the counter and asked to see the smartphone being repaired. She felt guilty about invading her mother's privacy, but convinced herself it was necessary for Lily's safety. I need to check something, she asked the technician. Can you show me the message history on this phone? Usually we can't, but... The technician looked at her desperate expression, thought for a moment, then agreed, just for a short time. The screen was connected to a repair machine, and the messaging app opened. Rachel quickly checked recent conversations. There were exchanges with an unknown number. I can get it cheaply, the child's allergy is called nickel, right? Vivian's message. Yes, this counterfeit contains large amounts of nickel. An allergic reaction is certain, the reply. Perfect. When she gets sick, they'll see the stepmother is incompetent. Below were also internet search histories. What symptoms appear when a child with nickel allergy uses it, effects of nickel poisoning on the brain, how long do allergic reactions last? Rachel put down the smartphone with trembling hands. Her head was spinning, and she felt nauseous. Her own mother had deliberately tried to harm Lily. Find what you were looking for. Turning around, she saw Vivian standing behind her. Her expression was hard, her eyes cold. Why? Rachel's voice was trembling. Why did you try to hurt Lily? What are you talking about? Vivian feigned an innocent expression. I'm sorry the child got sick, but it's not my fault. Don't lie. Rachel raised her voice. I saw your messages. You knew that iPhone would hurt Lily. The fake kindness disappeared from Vivian's face, replaced by a cold expression. Do you have proof? Did you look at my phone without permission? No one will believe you. Why? Rachel asked again. Lily is just a child. You always care only about your own happiness. Vivian's voice trembled with anger. You abandoned me for your new family. I thought if that child didn't love you, you would come back. Rachel was speechless. At that moment, someone called her name from the store entrance. Turning around, there stood Michael. From his expression, it was clear he had heard the conversation. Michael. Rachel said weakly. Michael slowly approached and looked at Vivian with severe eyes. You deliberately hurt my daughter. Oh, a misunderstanding. Vivian suddenly changed her attitude. I would never do such a thing. Enough. Michael's voice was as cold as ice. Susan contacted me. The hospital test results showed the nickel detected from that iPhone was 100 times normal levels. And now I know you were aware of this. Never come near our house again, he declared firmly. Not to Lily, not to Rachel. Leaving the store, Rachel didn't look back. She heard her mother's final cry, but it no longer reached her heart. 3 days in the hospital became a turning point in Rachel's life. By the evening of the second day, Lily's symptoms had improved significantly, and the doctors were amazed at her resilience. On the morning of discharge, Lily held Rachel's hand firmly as they left the hospital room. Mom, I'm sorry, Lily said in a small voice. For causing trouble with Grandma's present. Rachel felt her chest tighten. You have nothing to apologize for, Lily, she gently stroked her daughter's hair. I should have protected you better. Lily wiped away the tears streaming down Rachel's cheeks with her small hand. Don't cry. It's okay, she said with a serious expression. Rachel mama is my real mama. Because you always protect me. Those words warmed Rachel's heart. Michael was waiting in the parking lot. Seeing his daughter, he broke into a big smile. Our family princess is coming home. He lifted his daughter and spun her around. Lily's laughter echoed through the parking lot. When they got home, the house was quiet. Michael carried Lily's belongings to her room, while Rachel prepared Lily's favorite nickel-free hot chocolate in the kitchen. Anything from Vivian? Michael asked quietly. Rachel shook her head. Nothing. The police seem to have classified her actions as intentional injury, but it might go to trial, Michael sighed. I don't know, Rachel stared out the window. She's my mother, but I can't continue a relationship with her. Her voice was a mixture of sadness and determination. Months passed, and the seasons changed from winter to spring. One day, a letter arrived in the mailbox. Rachel immediately recognized her mother's handwriting. She hesitated whether to open it, but finally decided to read it. Dear Rachel, I am undergoing psychiatric evaluation. The doctors say I might have borderline personality disorder. I understand the horror of my actions. Jealousy of my granddaughter and a desire to have my daughter all to myself led to such behavior. I don't expect to be forgiven. But I want you to know. I am receiving treatment and trying to get better. I hope someday I can see you and Lily again. From Mother. Rachel quietly folded the letter. She had complex feelings, but now was the time to focus on healing her family. She was determined to monitor her mother's treatment, but couldn't yet decide whether to repair the relationship. 1 year after Lily's birthday, she turned 9. This time's party was a small one with just family. After cutting the cake, Lily presented a small package to Rachel. Now it's my turn to give Rachel Mama a present, Lily's face bore a proud smile. When Rachel opened the package, there was a handmade photo book. The cover read, "My Real Family," and inside were filled with memories of her with Michael and Lily. The three of them watching movies, having a picnic in the park, cooking together. It was filled with small moments of everyday happiness. This. Rachel was at a loss for words. "Do you like it?" Lily asked with expectant eyes. "I made it at school. The teacher helped me." "I love it," Rachel answered with a voice trembling with emotion. "This will be my treasure." Michael, watching them both, quietly said, "There are things more important than blood ties." Rachel hugged Lily. She was wrapped in the joy of finally finding the true form of family. It was a bond formed not by blood, but by daily love and care. Outside the window, the spring breeze danced with petals, as if announcing a new beginning.